Now, you'd think that if a Conservative Party got through that last election without losing a single seat of the 16 they held in the lower house to Labor or any of the successful minor parties, there'd be very little in the way of recriminations, reviews or leadership challenges right now. But last night, the often divided National Party became officially divided again as Deputy Leader David Littleproud put his hand up to unseat his leader, Barnaby Joyce. Now, tomorrow's a big day for both coalition partners as they gather in Canberra separately and give their respective caucuses a vote on who should be their new leader. Now, for the Liberals, they look to be on track to avoid any untidy vote and will anoint and appoint Peter Dutton unchallenged. Now, that's a seamless transition and a fairly good start to a rebuild. For the 21 Nats, though, there could be 3 leadership contenders, or if Michael McCormack comes in, it could be 4. Barnaby won't walk away. He's not a quitter. He loves his party. He loves leading his party. And anyway, he's also got too many kids to support. He needs the money. Barnaby's greatest internal enemy, Darren Chester from Gippsland, has already said he wants to contest the leadership, but he simply does not have anywhere near the numbers to make that work. David Littleproud, who again recorded the largest margin of any in the party in his seat of Maranoa, has a chance of stealing the leadership. A chance. And that's not because Barnaby had a bad campaign or has lost overwhelming support, but the National Party has suffered swings against it in 12 of its 16 seats. And some in the party that I've spoken to over the weekend think it may be time for a complete renewal for both coalition partners. Barnaby has loyally stood beside the last 3 Liberal Prime Ministers, and maybe it is time for change, which would be a major symbol of renewal. Littleproud said in a statement late yesterday afternoon that he'd advised Barnaby of his intention to nominate for the position of Leader of the Nationals, and he thanked him for all his service to his party. What the National MPs are considering most right now is where Joyce and Littleproud stand on climate policy. They too, some of them at least, are spooked by what happened in those inner city seats. Barnaby is no embracer of the renewable religion. We all know that. And he reluctantly agreed to back Scott Morrison on their net zero emissions target by 2050. In fact, last week, Barnaby Joyce suggested that the National support for that policy was a bit wobbly.
The Nationals will be having a meeting, we'll wait till seats are declared and postals are in, and we'll organise that, and we'll have the discussion in the party room about we're in opposition now. So you have a discussion in the party room. There's the government policy, and now the Nationals have to have that discussion, and I won't be sort of preempting that on television.
Littleproud, however, believes the election has illustrated a demand for government to address the reduction of CO2. Now, he's got to be careful about how he words his embracing of that policy. Now, sure, we've all got a view on that interpretation, but maybe it is time for the Nationals to reset and renew in exactly the same way as their coalition partners will do tomorrow. Now, I personally am a big Barnaby Joyce fan. He is an excellent retail politician, probably the best there is, and the Bush too appreciate his devotion to achieving the best for rural Australia. But if the Conservative parties need to reboot their reputations, redefine their point of difference, and set out a clear, updated set of values, doesn't it make sense to incorporate who stands together in public as well, who leads their respective parties, because they also have to be on the same page? That's the Littleproud argument, and that's the argument he will be discussing with those 20 members within the National Party. I think there's no doubt Littleproud is capable, he's switched on, he can dish out some venom when required, as we've seen. Together, he and Peter Dutton make a fresh, younger partnership. The coalition must be aiming to win the next election in 2025, not just claw back lost ground. So tomorrow looks to be the beginning of a new era for both parties, and 2 new competent faces may end up at the top. But for now, Barnaby has the numbers to continue leading the party, unless a few undecided Nat MPs can be persuaded before that meeting. Littleproud, though, is definitely in the hunt.